Well, welcome to Binge Theory, the coolest corner on the internet. With us today, we have a Brood X of panelists. We're going to go from lower left, Logan.
Hi.
Please say hello. And Brianna.
Oh, hello.
We have Eric.
Hello.
Kenny.
Hello.
And Raymond.
Hello.
And everybody, this is a special episode. Due to the Cicada Brood X infestation we're about to undergo, we thought it would be ideal to bring about a topic of bugs. So we're going to be discussing movies that have bugs. It's loosely defined. Whatever we think has a bug in it or that is entertaining in some way that has bugs, we're going to discuss it. So, and also down in the chats, feel free to chime in and let us know what your favorite bugs are, because we'll talk about it and we'll give you props. Starting off right off the top, let us look at the number one. This was brought up by Brianna, and this is District 9. Now, Brianna, what do you like about this one?
Well, I thought it was really interestingly done. It's basically kind of a sci-fi related movie, and it kind of starts with like I don't know if it's technically found footage, but kind of like interviews to kind of start building the story, and then it follows the guy that's pictured there, Wikus. And basically, obviously this is very spoilery, but an alien vessel arrives above Johannesburg, South Africa, and they're stuck. So basically there's these slums called District 9 where they call them prawns, because as you can see, they look very bug-like. But Wikus, when he's going around trying to like do the bureaucratic, like track these creatures, he gets sprayed by this stuff and he slowly starts becoming one of them. So it's a really interesting commentary just on like how other aliens are treated when they're here on Earth, and just, you know, the stress of everything. But also in real life, that actor that plays the main character, he had never been in a role on like a big scale ever. Like it was his very first Hollywood, like, and he's the main character. Like he's number one on the call sheet. And it's really interesting to watch some of his interviews from when they filmed that, because he was saying just how crazy and intense and just, you know, yeah, just how crazy the filming of that was, to have that be your first like big budget experience. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, his name is Shalto Copley. And it's what's funny is him and the director Neil Blomkamp have you know, a great rapport on this, and you know, I love it. I also like, you know, how topical it was, especially because it really dealt with kind of the refugee crisis and you know, classism and a whole bunch of underlying things. But it was definitely groundbreaking in the effects, you know, because it was so seamless. And it was, you know, not done in like a pristine space environment, very sterile and mechanical. This was down in the dirt. I think they also tried to copy this format with, what was the one with Matt Damon? Elysium. Now, was that Neil Blomkamp as well? Elysium?
No, I think Elysium is the entire Earth was like the third world nation, and then the people who basically are more like the wealthy people are actually in a space, some kind of a space satellite or something.
No, yeah, I know the premise, but I'm just saying
he did do it, yeah.
Because it has that same quality.
Same actor,
Yep.
Yeah, no. So yeah, good pick. Has anybody else seen District 9?
I saw it closer when it came out.
Yeah,
it's like 09. It's been a while.
Yeah. It has been a little while.
And Eric, you saw it?
Definitely. I saw it. For me, it was groundbreaking at that time, just because of the combination of genres. Really, you when you sit down in the theater, you almost feel like you're about to watch a documentary, and then it gets really heavy. It gets really heavy as far as a social commentary. And then they bring the aliens in, and you're like faced with a horror movie, kind of, in a way, or a suspense at least. You just, as a moviegoer, like, I just did not know where this movie was going, but I loved every minute of it, though. And I think that's one of the reasons why I hold that movie in such high regard, is just because of the way that they really pulled it off. I thought, it's not always easy to pull a movie that's almost presented as a documentary off and just launch that thing into what I thought would be a blockbuster, but apparently that didn't really go that far in the box office. I
think the commercial appetite for commentary on classism and let's just say the inhumanity of man is not really marketable. I will say that, and I'm sorry, Brianna, to your point, Sharlto Copley, and I'm killing his first name. He was the villain in Elysium. He was the guy with the beard, and was just the Marine, really intense dude, which is an amazing stretch from this character that was kind of just like a bureaucrat.
Well, he was like a nerdy, no one cared about him, just like
exactly.
This kind of like wimp of a guy, frankly. So, but yeah, he did a really good job for such a big budget film, and it's also produced by Peter Jackson, of course, and that was like the height of the Peter Jackson era. So I remember them trying to push it really hard. But
I also remember he was in a film called, I think it's Hardcore Henry. It was one of those ones that was shot all from the first person perspective. And Logan, did you see that?
I saw bits and pieces of it. I was intrigued by it, but it kind of made me a little too nauseous to really sit through the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it was sparked because somebody did a version of it on YouTube, and it was like a stunt man kind of a thing, and it looked really cool. But I don't think it plays for an hour and a half. That whole.
It didn't for me, at least.
Yeah, there you go. Good one, Brianna. Great pick. That is a bug movie. All right, so
Space bugs.
Yes, space bugs. You know what? We're going to be talking a lot about space bugs. Now, watch
Pretty good segue.
Watch me stick the landing on this. And now we're going to go to Men in Black. So now, who mentioned Men in Black? Was that Kenny?
And I think it was Brianna as well.
I technically mentioned it first, and then Kenny stole it. But
sorry, Kenny.
Well, she mentioned
I
it.
gave it a second shout out to Men in Black.
Yeah, and I did the same thing. That wasn't my first pick either. It was like my second. So I just somehow got credited for it instead of Brianna.
No, I hear you.
Brianna mentioned it first.
We're going to talk about Men in Black. We're going to talk about Tommy Lee Jones. We're going to talk about Will Smith. We're going to talk about Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes.
And again, an amazing acting ability to basically look like a guy wearing a guy.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant how Vincent D'Onofrio pulled that off. And a lot of the effects, again. Now, remember, this came out back in 1997.
Yep. So
it's old school special effects, but they still relatively hold up. And again, this is Will Smith in his heyday when he was, Big Willie. And I don't know what, Tommy Lee Jones was doing in comedies. He's a great straight man, but it just looks like he's miserable in everything he does. So I don't know. Who's a Men in Black fan?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I think this is one of the ones when you're going back to the 90s that kind of sit right alongside, but still below Jurassic Park as effects that still hold up.
Yeah.
There you go. And also not to lose track, but we have a guest who's chiming in. Junie, what's up, brother? Junie's a great support of the show, and he's just letting us know that the guy who we were just talking about from District 9, Shalto Copley, and I'm never going to say his name right. He should just change his name to something a little more, Hollywood, like Vincent Steele. And apparently he's going to be coming out with a new movie. Thanks for the insight, Junie. And I'm sorry. So we all did see Men in Black. I'm pretty sure. I mean, who hasn't seen Men in Black? Yep. So yes. And again, you're right, Logan. The effects were, hold up to this date. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Yes, no.
The effects or just the movie in general?
Anything. Any thoughts whatsoever?
I love the first Men in Black. Of the three, it is definitely my favorite. For me, it's a bug movie because the main character is a bug. But at the time, I did not know. I don't know how I didn't realize that was Vincent D'Onofrio.
Really?
I didn't. Because I knew him from Full Metal Jacket, and I think I had seen him in something else.
Law and Order.
I just did not. I didn't. I don't know how, but at the time, I did not place him. And then when I realized it was him, I loved him even more as an actor because I was like, "That's fantastic!" Like, just basically playing. Like you said, he's playing a guy that's, wearing a guy.
I
almost wanted to throw in Robert Downey Jr.'s line from Tropic Thunder, like, I'm the dude playing the dude who's disguised as another dude.
Yes, I would do that impression, but I think it would not go well on the internet. There is another movie that Vincent D'Onofrio was in, showing his range, because he was in Full Metal Jacket playing Gomer Pyle. But then he was also in a psychological thriller / sci-fi called The Cell.
Yeah.
With
that's a J-Lo, right?
With J-Lo.
Yeah.
Exactly. One of her great acting roles. Not really. And it was visually stunning. I forget who the director was, but everything he shoots looks like a music video. It's just epic and operatic and all that fun stuff. So yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio, great actor. And again, playing a dude inside another dude. See, it sounds like Bill Cosby when I do it. And either way, none of those are good impressions.
Yeah, don't go full Bill Cosby.
I'm not doing any of them.
Well, the thing about Vincent D'Onofrio is he was in Law and Order, right? He was the main character.
Yeah, he had his own show. He did. It was Law and Order. I think it was like Criminal Intent.
Yeah, and he stuttered. I was going like, maybe it's his. I was going, is it his character or is it really him? Then I saw Men in Black. I was going, okay, this guy's good. I was like,
Yeah, no, he's
good.
He brings a quirkiness to all of his roles.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget, let's not
Sorry.
forget he was also Kingpin in Daredevil.
Yeah,
And I didn't think he was going to be able to pull that one off, but holy crap, man!
Again, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
So Vincent, for what it's worth, you get the Binge Theory seal of approval, and let's move on because we got a lot of in our docket now. Actually, we got a new one coming up. That's my horrible Jeff Goldblum impression. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that because the next one we have is The Fly. Now this one, was this yours, Logan?
This was one of mine, yes.
It was yours. All right, let's bring up a graphic here. Yes, that is the hideous fly monster.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those horror films that goes there for the gross out horror factor. But they take their time with it to such an extent, and the range of visual transformation that he goes to from Jeff Goldblum to that, just it draws you in and makes you act, just really feel for him and everything that's kind of going on the whole way through, because it's not abrupt. it's drawn out over the course of the movie, and it's still hard to get through some of the scenes that I just will never not have those like horror flashes in my head of. But yeah, this one was definitely a bug movie that came to mind.
Yeah, when they go into the science of how insects or flies actually eat, and then he demonstrates that. Yeah, and keeping jars of the pieces that were falling off of him that wasn't super cool. That was kind of gross.
There was a lot. Yeah, they went there, but
yeah, but no, it was good. Yeah, I think they call it very Cronenberg-y.
It was David Cronenberg.
There you go. Yeah, that's
and directed. So there you go.
Yeah. He has a specific eye. I will give him that. Has everybody seen The Fly?
No, I didn't.
No,
I saw it.
You saw it.
I'm not really a Cronenberg fan either, so.
Yeah.
Now Cronenberg didn't do The Thing, did he? With Kurt Russell.
There's an easy way to find out.
Yeah. Well, I got too many.
I got you. Hang on.
Well, Logan, did you see the original?
No, that was John Carpenter.
John Carpenter, thank you. Yeah, but that was still Cronenberg-y, if that's well, if we're going to coin that phrase.
Yeah.
Logan, did you see the original Fly?
No, I did not. I have not seen the original.
Yeah.
I have not seen the original.
You're an old head for movies now.
I have not.
Well, it's very gross, and Jeff Goldblum was very insect-like, but I think that's just him in general. So we are going to move on to the next one, and this one I think is yours, Kenny. This one, and I think I may have seen the poster for it, but not that familiar with it. It is called The Ant Bully.
Not mine.
That's not yours?
That was mine.
Oh, Raymond, that's yours.
Yeah.
All right,
well, yeah, I figure, put in a little cartoon or put in a little Pixar there, but it was the reason why I like this is kind of funny because I actually have this hobby of studying languages, and I usually flip soundtracks on DVDs to either Spanish or whatever language is there just to listen to it, and this kind of stuck to me because this is one of them that just like stuck into my head. Basically, the premise of it is this guy basically just kind of it's what the title says. He bullies the ants. He smashes their mounds, and not to be gross, but he pees on their mound basically. And what happened was there's an ant saucer that transforms him into a small, tiny person, and then he becomes part of the colony and learns how to live with the colony and all that stuff. So it's like a little growth experience with him, and so it's a nice little, that's not my number one pick, but it was one of my picks. But that's one of the things that kind of just stuck to me. It's a cute movie. Yeah, I don't think anyone. I would say no one ever watched among this group. But
the only animated ant movies I ever saw was A Bug's Life.
Yeah, it's sort of like that.
Ants, and this looks like it's more animated like Ants, the one starring Woody Allen. And also there was another one, and it's escaping me right now. Jeez. Well, there's
there's Bug's Life.
Bug's Life.
Bug's Life and Ants are the main two that I know of.
Yeah.
Ants with a Z.
Yeah.
Ants with a Z.
Yeah. Well,
didn't they come out at the same time or around the same time? I remember that being confusing.
It was one of those what I call the lesser twins. Where you have like two movies that come out at the same time, and one is just always better.
Yeah,
like
Ants and Bug Life were both 1998, I think.
Yeah, same year.
Yeah.
Junie was giving us some more Eight-Legged Freaks. Remember that one? And Arachnophobia.
Nope, don't want to remember that one. that Arachnophobia.
Slither's good.
Arachnophobia is probably the most responsible for me just hating spiders. Like, I should not have watched that movie as a kid.
And Joe's Apartment. I remember that back on MTV to throw out some age bombs.
Was that Jerry O'Connell?
It was Jerry O'Connell. Oh, the original one was just like some guy, but then they made a Jerry O'Connell movie. Because before it was just like a MTV short.
Oh, that's right, it was.
Yeah. MTV launched a lot of stuff. They also had Aeon Flux, which was
Whoa.
Well, that's kind of a bug movie. I mean, she caught a fly in her eyelid.
She caught, yes, like most people do. If
you want to do that, you can call The Whole Nine Yards a bug movie too, because of Bruce Willis's fly catch and get out in that scene.
Yeah.
So,
but I do have a trivia question for you guys. Scarlett Johansson bug movie.
Scarlett Johansson bug movie.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett Johansson bug movie. Ooh, I love trivia. Scarlett Johansson bug movie.
Hang on, how broad is the term bug?
As in spider.
Wait a second. She's Black Widow. Don't do that, Raymond.
No. She was okay. I'll let you guys mull it over. Like, she was in another bug movie. She actually got webbed in that movie. So
she got webbed in the movie. Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Was she in Charlotte's Web?
Ghost in the Shell?
Huh?
Ghost in the Shell?
No, not Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
It's a bug movie. She's in the bug movie. I'll let you guys mull it over.
Yes. I can't figure it out right away, so I'm just going to pretend that you didn't say any of that. So, all right. No, but yeah, somebody think of that, because now it's stuck in my head. Scarlett Johansson getting webbed. Yeah, that's something. All right, so moving on to the next one. Now, this one, Brianna and I are probably the only ones to have seen, and she definitely has thoughts on it. This one, it's gonna be ironic. I love to drop some irony out there. It is called Bug, and it came out in 2006, starring Michael Shannon and Ashley Judd. And this was when she was doing a lot of her acting back in the day. Really interesting film. If I can give you just the gist of it. Michael Shannon and Ashley Judd are locked into a hotel room, and Michael Shannon is constantly seeing bugs and microscopic things. I would say, in the throes of some sort of, I don't want to say schizophrenia, but he definitely has some sort of delusions that's going on where he is seeing bugs everywhere. And she's like, what's the matter with you? I don't see any bugs. But over time, she starts to see bugs too. And it devolves into just madness. Brianna, what are your thoughts? What do you remember from this one?
Oh boy. So just for the setup, I watched this. I must have been back in college, but I was back home, and this was when Netflix, like, you would actually have to like order the DVDs and they would come to your house. Back old school Netflix. And so like my parents would always just get movies because they knew the actors in it. So my mom was like, oh, Ashley Judd. And we watched it. And Julian, I hate two movies like more than any other movies. And this is one of the two. Like, I cannot believe that you put it on this list. Listen. It was one of those. It was weird. It was disturbing. I don't really remember hardly anything at all about it other than I hate this movie and I will never, ever see it again. So yes, I had some opinions about it.
Weird and disturbing. That could be my epitaph. No, this film was very dark and very psychologically trippy. Michael Shannon, this is probably one of the second films I've seen him in. And again, he can play crazy like nobody's business. And I shouldn't say the term crazy, but he's definitely playing somebody who is
unhinged, I guess.
Well, he's definitely experiencing things that are on a different plane, and because I try and get away from that term crazy because it's dismissive. What he's doing is really specific. I would say that Vincent D'Onofrio could take on some of these roles if we're talking about just great actors going there. And I know a lot of people haven't seen it, so I'm not going to belabor it. I'm not going to torture Brianna with
Don't see it.
descriptions of what they've done. But yeah, so even though there are technically no bugs in this, he thought there were bugs, and that's the whole point, right? Because sometimes you just got to believe. Anyway, moving on to the next one.
Did you see Junie's comment? Michael Shannon's from his hometown.
Really? Where's that, Junie? Where are you from? Without being too specific. Oh, Kentucky. You're from Kentucky, right?
I cannot believe that you.
I think he's from Kentucky. But anyway, well, Junie, if you bump into him, tell him I said what's up. And and you know, he's a great actor. He gets the Binge series
Silver.
Yep, Lexington, Kentucky. See, I can still retain some stuff. All right, moving on to the next one. Good shout out, Junie. This one was done by you, Kenny.
Yes,
right?
it was.
Yes.
Yep,
now,
this was my pick.
There we go. Now tell us a little about this horror psychological thriller film.
Oh yes, the psychological thriller.
Yes.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I loved this movie when it came out. I mean, who isn't a fan of Rick Moranis to begin with?
True. Well, that one guy that assaulted him, but yeah, everybody else pretty much. Yeah.
But the reason that I enjoy this movie is, so along with spiders, as a child, I didn't like other insects, right? I just had a big fear of insects. After seeing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, I don't know why, but there was something about that movie that actually changed things for me and made me think about insects in a different way, to be less afraid of them. And it had an effect on me. So that's why I enjoy it. But overall, it still is a good movie. Great premise, way out there science, but it's a fun movie, and I really enjoy it. I would actually. I don't think I've seen it in 15 years. I think it's one of those I need to pick up and go and watch now and see how it holds up.
Yeah, that movie was technically in the 80s.
Yeah.
89.
Yeah. So that being said, based on that logic of Rick Moranis kind of opening the door to your acceptance of insects, did he also help you with your fear of ghosts?
Never had a fear of ghosts.
No. Okay.
He actually made me even.
I will
say, I thought that plants could be alive because of him. Little Shop of Horrors,
And Juno is pointing out that Rick Moranis has quit Hollywood.
Yes.
He did, what was it, years back, I think, because he had to raise his kids. Something happened to his wife, I think.
He basically, he left for his family.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. But I thought he was coming back for something.
He did a commercial.
Yeah.
I think, wasn't it a commercial that aired during the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And that's basically it.
I swear I thought he was coming back to a movie like, one of the big ones.
I thought they were remaking a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and he was going to be part of that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah. I heard it, but, you hear lots of things on the
internet. They are.
Oh, there you go. See?
Josh Gad's going to be in it.
Nice.
It's good. It's called Skunk.
Go Olaf.
Yeah, Olaf. Yeah. From
Frozen.
Frozen, yeah.
There you go. Well,
there was at a theme park, wasn't it Disney down in Florida that had the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids part? It's not there anymore.
I remember seeing that the first time I went to, or probably the second time we went to Disney as kids. I remember playing in that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It was amazing. It was really cool,
Yeah, well, especially after seeing the movie. And I remember, in the movie, the part of the rain was really scary because they're so small and it's these giant raindrops and stuff. But yeah, it was really cool to be and everything is gigantic, at the theme park, and you do feel really small. So it's cool.
Yeah,
cool tie-in.
I actually wanted to dive into a marshmallow when I saw that movie.
Yeah.
Eric, did you ever see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a great movie. I mean, geez, I mean, if I take the time to revisit that, that might bring back some memories for sure. It was a long time ago.
we definitely got to do some like retro movies. Like, you know, I'm talking who's the guy that was king of the 80s high school experience? You know, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink.
Oh,
Judge. Wait.
No, not. Oh, darn it.
Was it Michael something, wasn't it?
The director. I forget his name, but
John Hughes.
John Hughes.
John Hughes. Thank you. There you go. Yeah, John Hughes. So maybe we'll do a John Hughes film fest. You know, and
that would be awesome.
Yeah, you know, not very popular with the brothers. Just, you know, in case you're watching a John Hughes film, not a lot of them in there. But moving on, and Junie brought this one up, but I didn't want to, you know, give him credit because we already had it on the list, Junie. but you were right there with us. We are talking Mimic. Now this one Logan brought up, and I do remember this. I do remember this indeed. Starring, who was it? Mira Sorvino.
Mira Sorvino.
Yes.
Josh Brolin. Charles Dutton. Yeah.
I remember Charles Dutton in it. This was back in his rock days when he had that series. Wow, you know, I forgot that Josh Brolin was in that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Logan, can you set it up? Tell us a little bit about Mimic.
I mean, it had a straightforward enough premise, again, for the 90s. There's a cockroach plague that was going to decimate I think it was like all the kids in New York City or something. So they found some other bug to try and like genetically engineer it to make it take out the cockroaches. And it worked so well, it started taking out people a couple of years later. You know, it was, I gotta say, as much as I do remember enjoying it, looking on it now, and realizing that it was Guillermo del Toro who directed it,
yes,
I almost expect more from it now that I've kind of looked back on it and think of it again. Like, he's knowing what he's capable of. I don't know that really, either that was before he had learned what he needed to learn to get to where he got to, or there were just other factors that prevented him from doing it. But it was okay, but it never went to that next level.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that I did like the premise. I like how, especially, I think because since he wasn't a name, they didn't really give him a budget. So, you know, it was just, you know, this large cockroach that folded its wings so it looked like some guy in a trench coat. And that was, you know, because I think they were talking about the science about how, you know, certain bugs can mimic, that like in the title, other beings. And it basically, when it was a 6-foot cockroach, that when it folded its wings, just looked like some weirdo in a trench coat, which in New York subways, that's pretty normal. So there you go.
I wouldn't look twice.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's got a trench coat on, you know, just like every other weirdo out there. Interesting. Oh, and Judy's saying that Norman Reedus was in Mimic.
Was he really? I missed that.
No, he must have been very young. The first time
that's probably one of the first things he was ever in.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first time I ever saw Norman Reedus was in Blade 2. He was like his tech guy.
Was that before or after the first Boondock Saints?
Oh, after. It was after.
I was gonna say, because the first Boondock Saints is where I know him from.
You're right. Yeah. That's what I first saw him in. But I think I remember more from Blade 2. And speaking of which, that was still Guillermo del Toro, right? Blade 2.
Blade. I thought it was the first Blade.
Blade 2.
Oh, was it Blade 2?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Yep. Okay, now here's where things get really interesting. We're moving on to this one, and this one was brought up by Raymond. And there's so much to digest here. So I'm gonna put up the screen, and we're gonna talk about Alien, not just one, but the entire flipping franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really curious. And Junie confirms what we're saying is that Boondocks was in '99, Blade was in 2004.
All right,
So,
that's what I thought. Awesome.
yeah, there you go. So yes, let's talk xenomorphs. Let's talk about this entire universe that started off really strong and then spiraled right into the toilet, like most insects when you find them in your house. So, okay, starting off, Raymond, which was your favorite alien?
Well, it's the first one, basically. Well, wait a minute. Where was the one where Sigourney Weaver used a robot to just kill the
That was Aliens.
Aliens? All right, too. Aliens, then.
It was
Yes.
interesting because it went from like a suspense thriller to an 80s action flick.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But isn't that kind of what they did? The same thing with Terminator. You know, they just have like a nice kind of an interesting sci-fi premise, and then they go full on action.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think that's pretty much why I like the second one as well, because I mean I like Terminator 2 as well. So, but yeah, I like the. It's not just I guess with the second one I felt that some of the characters like the robot the android that she didn't trust and all that stuff. I think I don't know, for me for some can't explain it, but for some reason I really like the way the story kind of went as far as how the movie unraveled. I mean, as I saw the first one, but I don't know. I just can't explain. I just like the second one way better. I guess it's just me with robots versus aliens. I don't know. It's just, but yeah, I like. Although Tremors, I like Tremors better than anything else.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Kenny, what was your favorite Alien franchise film?
Oh, I'm probably gonna be hated for this, but Alien versus Predator.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, again, you're talking about the first one, the PG-13 one.
The first one they had the best poster. The Alien and the Predator. No matter who wins, we lose.
Yeah, I think we all lost. All right. Yes.
Oh, come on.
I think that's that.
I was also telling Julian that the Prometheus and what that followed that that was an interesting twist to how it's like trying to do like a prequel to the Alien franchise, the aliens themselves.
Yeah, Prometheus and Covenant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically, I think it was in Covenant where the sort of like the anti-hero, the android basically started creating aliens out from scratch, or started genetically altering aliens to get to the alien as we know it today.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender. He basically started playing, a genetic psycho, and you know what? Apparently, you just can't trust the androids. And I'm not trying to be anti-android. It's not that. It's just that all the androids in this seem to go crazy and try and kill everybody. That's all.
Yeah. Which is probably the reason why I like the second Alien. The second Alien, the android actually redeemed themselves. So.
That's right, Bishop. He did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. Now, again, I what I really dug about the whole Alien, well, until it became what it became, but the premise when you're trying to just understand because it was scary, but it was scary in a way that was rooted in some sort of a natural reality where you had eggs and insemination and taking over, a being and using it as like almost like a cocoon. That is not far from like a hornet wasp or something like that, where that's literally how they procreate. So I kind of dug that, and the horror stuff was cool too. But I liked that it was rooted in some sort of a understanding of biology. If that's
And there are bugs. So
yeah, and they had acid for blood. That was a little much, but Logan, what were your thoughts? Have you seen any of the aliens?
I've seen all of them. I don't. Well, I've seen all of the old ones. I have not seen either of the two newer ones. And I have seen both the Verse Predator ones for whatever that means. But the original ones I liked. I want to say it's somewhere between probably 3. I think has to be my favorite. If only because I don't know that. So that came out in 92, I think.
It did.
93 something or 92.
It was 92.
And when we, that was one of those films where you could go ahead and, you'd be at a sleepover with friends and it's supposed to be lights out, but somebody's got the OK cable code box to get on HBO or rent an on-demand movie or something, and you rent the horror movie because that's cool. And this was one of those ones that I remember we did that with, and it was totally rated R, and it had just this gruff, gritty, language-ridden, just beat you over the head with a steel bar kind of a roughness to it that I don't recall from any other film that I had. Certainly not that I've been allowed to see, but that I had seen in any way, shape, or form at that time. And it left an impression because I didn't realize movies could be like that. I don't know that it was good or bad per se, but it was just, to realize that, this can just take off and go in such a dark way or harsh way. Like, I just remember it being a very unique and one of those few times where you have that rebellious experience and you feel like, yeah, I actually did rebel by watching this.
Well, and you're right. It definitely had a different eye. It was done by David Fincher. Mm-hmm. And the whole sepia tone type of because it took place on a penal colony, which is, it was just filthy. I mean, they even had, I loved how, and this was really, of its time, really just quite a transformation. She had Sigourney Weaver shaved her head.
Yeah.
Yes. And everybody's like, "Ooh, wow! What a!" And again, of its time, it was really wild because it was her, Demi Moore, that shaved head, and that was just such a strange thing for an actress to do. But I remember how they explained it, and it was just really interesting how there was just lice everywhere. There was lice, and they said, "Yeah, we shave our heads because we got lice," and that is such a non-story impacting thing, but it just added so much dimension to the story. Mm-hmm. And also we were talking about Charles S. Dutton. He was in this too.
Yes,
played a great role. And also, like I was talking about earlier with the science being kind of rooted in science, how this one wasn't in a human, it went into their Rottweiler. And so it was on all fours. It was a different type of an alien, which was, really interesting. And the effects were a little wonky, I'll say that. But it was, I did appreciate the tone of it.
Yeah, and I really liked the kind of sacrifice play of the lead character at the end. Like that kind of a thing too was impactful too. That like, oh, this means something.
Yeah, exactly. There were stakes, and
it was supposed to anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. Once you start cloning, nothing really matters. It is. Brianna, what was your favorite alien film?
I'm not a huge Alien fan. I remember seeing probably the first one or two, but it's been a really long time. But in my mind, it's just, the alien coming out of someone's stomach and then Sigourney Weaver, like the two standout things.
I do remember, and again, you can probably find this online, that Ridley Scott did not tell the cast what was going to happen when John Hurt had the chest burster. They just said something was going to happen. And when that thing came out of his chest, the reaction on their faces is supposed to be genuine. That's what they say. Yeah, you can never really,
I believe
it sounds like a a fun story. But yeah, so there you go. Eric, what's your favorite alien? Now, here's the thing. Everybody, you can't tell this. And Eric, I gotta set you up for this because I always thought that Eric looked like Bill Paxton, and without his mustache, you would really see it a little more. It just, again, you look like a leading man, Eric. You look like Bill Paxton, and I bet if you were to say,
that's a compliment. Paxton is awesome, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. I remember when I first met Eric, I was like, yeah, he looks like Bill Paxton, and game over, man. Why don't you put her in charge? All the lines.
All right, so I would say my favorite Alien movie is definitely the first one. I mean, for me at that point in my life, I was definitely a movie fan, and really the only kind of science fiction that I had in my life was Star Wars, which was like very kind of tame and fun and hey, we're going to different planets, and like Alien was a totally different experience. And then I followed that up with The Abyss, and man, I was just loving science fiction, man. So yeah, Alien was scary, definitely scary. You had a female lead, which was like awesome. I thought that was great. She was a strong lead. Nobody was gonna mess with her. And so that was that movie really had a big impression on me, and not only to really introduce me to Ridley Scott as well, and his brother, the late Tony Scott. That kind of like just indoctrinated me into their world and really good filmmaking,
Eric, you brought up an excellent point, and you're right. Other than Carrie Fisher, I think Sigourney Weaver was one of the first, and this is just Hollywood all day long, strong female leads that did not have some sort of a psychological impairment.
Right.
She was strong because she was strong. She wasn't strong because she was damaged, which I found that a lot of Hollywood things tend to do. Like, well, something's wrong with her. That's why she's so strong. Right. Like Linda Hamilton, she was, she was strong, but she was, she was suffering from post-traumatic stress, and she was compensating. Where Sigourney is just, she's a captain, and no, she wasn't the captain. She was, I think, the co-pilot of the salvage thing, but she just stepped into the role, and that's an excellent point. I love her being a strong character without having to be it be a gimmick. She was just the lead, and
she's stronger in two.
What's that?
One actually made her stronger for two.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I would disagree. I mean, I think she was just a badass, like from the beginning of Alien. She was just such a natural leader, I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
Hey, everybody, we got a guest host.
Yes, we do.
Hey, Josie.
Sorry.
No, and yeah, I see both of your points though. I see where in the first one she was not so much, but again, those are two different films, because one is an action film, the other one is a sci-fi thriller, and one I think is more based on suspense, and the second one she's running around with a pulse rifle. So yeah, I think it's that whole sequel. You got to dial everything up to 10. But no, both of your points I can see both of your points in that. Kenny, now did you say which? Yeah, you said yours was Alien versus Predator. That was the wrong answer, but I appreciate you giving us that. No. Here's the thing. I saw it because I was really excited about the premise, the universes. Because I remember in Predator 2, he actually had an alien head on the ship. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh man, they're again, this is I think right before the internet. So you're like, wow, the crossing universes. This has never been done before, and yeah, and again, Danny Glover in Alien,
In Predator 2.
Predator 2. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
He was too old for that stuff in Lethal Weapon. He wasn't getting any younger. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, so we're hitting on a whole bunch of things. Now, this one we definitely got to talk about, and
I think we all pick this one.
This one, when you think of bugs, this one just jumps right out at you, and this one is Starship Troopers.
Yes.
And this one is just so full of schlock and one-liners and hyper violence and hypersexuality. Everything is just dialed up to 11 on this. And let's start off. Logan, what are your thoughts about Starship Troopers circa 1997?
I loved every schlocky, ridiculous thing about this movie. Unashamedly. Like, this one just, God, I mean, from the little newscast interludes through just, the cast themselves. I mean, it was arguably, if he had one, Casper Van Dien's heyday of starring films. But I mean, you add like Neil Patrick Harris and Clancy Brown together, and like you can't compete. And it was just so absurd, and it just leaned into it. Like it was just, oh yeah, the only good buck is a dead bug. Like it was just, man, so many one-liners there that you never forget. It was just, I loved it. And the juxtaposition too, from the ground pounders to the people in space, like the way they showed all the different areas and stuff, just, there were so many stories all made into one big story. It was just great.
It was. And,
so Junie has a good point. There were a number, they definitely should have stopped at one.
Yeah.
Some of those sequels, man, they jumped shark after shark after shark, and it was just rough.
Yeah. I think they even have recently a CG one on
an
Netflix.
Animated one. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know what this one makes me think of? This one makes me think of RoboCop and Total Recall. That whole like late 80s, just everything is gunmetal gray, and you have commercials that are hyper violence and hyper sexualized and all that stuff. I mean, to me, they're all in the same universe. Remember Total Recall? He was going to Mars, so there was space travel and all that. And RoboCop, I don't know. I just get the same vibe. Oh, thanks for the shout out, Junie.
Right back at you.
Yeah. Every day when I talk about comics and movies and video games, people say I'm cool. So that is the truth. You're 100%. But yeah, no. Yes. Eric, what are your thoughts on Starship Troopers?
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm probably not the best person to talk to about that one. I think I saw it once. I appreciate the, whenever you do a comedy about that, it's a bit of an homage, right? I mean, you're paying tribute to the real thing, which I think is great. I think it's great, and I think they definitely pulled it off, But I think I'd have to agree with Logan, though. You got to know when to stop, and after the first one that's probably enough, I mean, we don't need Spaceballs too, right? I mean.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
I will say too, though, I've never read the original Robert Heinlein story that this is based off of, so I don't know if anybody else here has, in any kind of adding that to the comparison of how the movie adaptation reflected, honored, changed, bastardized it, whatever.
I have not, but I've after time, people started pointing out what the undertones of this were really about, the the whole we're the elitist and you're either a citizen or you're it was not what as a grown up you start looking at it's like, oh yeah, these are space Nazis and and
Space Nazis won.
Yes, exactly. I do but and again everybody was so Melrose Place hot. Everybody was way.
It was a CW movie before the CW existed.
Exactly. I did like Michael Ironside. As the instructor. With and Jake Busey, a young Jake
Busey.
Yeah, he was in it. And Clancy Brown, the drill sergeant Zim.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that caught the bug. Zim caught the bug.
And he had better been in the Highlander remake too. That's all I got to say about that one.
That's right. I heard about that.
I heard about that too.
Yeah,
he had better still be Kurgan in that one because recast Highlander, whatever. Henry Cavill, great, but nobody's
no.
And Brian May better do the soundtrack. That's the other thing I got to say.
Junie's saying the Starship Troopers 3 literally used the same exact set for 5 scenes. Yeah, I don't doubt that. They were probably in some sort of
budget.
Budget.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see. Do I want to see a Highlander? Because I remember.
I do.
Yeah.
Superman as the Highlander. I mean, that's
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Did you guys see a Witcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been reading all the books. I'm super into The Witcher.
Yeah. Brianna, have you ever played the Witcher video game?
Well, that's how it started. The Witcher 3 is my second favorite video game of all time. So
that's one even I've actually played.
Oh,
hey, that's a long one too.
My brother-in-law got it for me for Christmas one year or something, just because he knows I don't play. And I'm not going to spend the money on it myself. But it's like, hey, be a part of this, and I play it for like an hour, and then go like, okay, yeah.
Well, it's. All I got to say is we need to do a deep dive review of this. Because it is definitely a cornerstone on amazingly horrible movies you got to watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should do a live view.
Yes. We got to set up a watch along. We're working on that. Yeah, we definitely want to do a watch party on that. And let's see, what else do we got here? Another franchise. Now this one was brought up by Kenny, and this one is the let's just say it's probably one of the most popular ones.
One of the two easiest ones to guess.
Exactly.
Oh,
and also, before we bounce off this topic, Henry Cavill is a big PC gamer.
Yes, he is. He did a cool thing during the pandemic where he
built his own computer.
Yeah, and he did the video on Facebook or social media. He shared it, building out his PC. I thought that was pretty cool of him.
Yeah, because most nerds look just like Henry Cavill.
You didn't know that?
That is a thing. That is a thing.
Welcome to the 2020s.
I look just like Henry Cavill, but you just can't tell because there's all the fat, surrounding the muscle.
Exactly. I think he's allergic to something because he's all swole up. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I gotta go, guys.
Oh,
yeah.
Eric,
right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
We'll catch you on the next
Later.
one. Later.
All right.
Still, the best thing that Henry Cavill ever did and ever will do is cock his arms when he's about to fight in Mission Impossible. I mean, that is a fighting style that I've never seen before. I mean, I didn't know that you needed to cock them, but they are guns. So there you go. Yeah. Okay, now this one Kenny brought up, and it is a good one. And again, going into the franchise mode, we're going to be talking about the Spider-Mans. The entire franchise. Red and blue spandex galore. So let us talk about the Spider-Man franchise and all the wonderful things that they've contributed over the years. And actually, I definitely have a few of my favorite ones, but I want to get your guys' thoughts. Raymond, what's your favorite Spider-Man movie? Because I know you've watched a lot of these.
I would still say Tobey Maguire, the second one, the one with Doc Ock. I mean, that by far, I've seen all of them, but by far, I really think really think the second one. I mean, there's you know what I don't I don't cry a lot in movies, but the only times I ever cried was when Endgame when basically what do you call this? Well, everyone started appearing at the end for the fight, and the part where basically Tobey Maguire takes off his mask, and then all of a sudden, oh gosh, what's her name? Kristen Dunst finds out who he is. I mean, looks at him. Yeah, those are the only two. Those are the only times I ever cried in a movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I definitely like 2 as well. I mean, one of the most epic scenes was the train, stopping the train from going over the
Yes.
edge, and him about to fall out because he was so exhausted, and the New Yorkers grabbing him and lifting him in there, lifting him up, and how he how they they all the little kids came up and said we found something. They give him his mask back, and they're like,
we're not going to tell anyone. Yeah.
That was,
sorry, I'm tearing up right now. Excuse me.
oh, it was Sam Raimi, and Sam Raimi at his best, and for those that don't know, Sam Raimi did Evil Dead, and that's why not Bill Campbell, what's his name, Logan?
Oh, you said Campbell, and now it's Scrooge.
Campbell, yeah.
Yeah.
He also did
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, yeah.
Yes.
He also did Hercules and Xena, which is also Bruce Campbell appeared in.
Well,
a
that's
couple of
Sam
those
and
as
Ted, his brother, too, and they both kind of did and appeared. And oh man, like, yeah, going back to that kind of '90s TV dynasty type stuff, like, whew,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I heard that Sam Raimi did this, I was going to go like, "Oh, this is going to flop."
Well, he's doing Doctor Strange too, isn't he?
Get out of here.
Yeah, I
Is
think that's right.
I thought so.
Yep, in the multiverse. That's right.
Yeah.
I think you are
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Game on. Yeah, no, game on. Okay, yeah, Sam Raimi. Now, you know what's funny? And here's the funny thing. The first time I saw Sam Raimi, saw him, not his directing, or maybe he did direct it. Did he do Darkman?
Oh, I don't know.
I would think so because one of the characters actually was from Xena, so I think he did. I'm not sure though.
Because I remember seeing him in Darkman. He was one of the villains in Darkman, and I think he might have directed that. I might have to ask the internet. Internet, did Sam Raimi direct Darkman? Starring Liam Neeson's. Yes. Oh, and guess who his obvious arm candy was in Darkman? You're never gonna believe this. Frances McDormand.
Oh.
I mean, Oscar winner Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
Fargo, actor extraordinaire. She was the girlfriend in this, but you wouldn't even recognize her because she had the 80s hair and the taupe outfits and the shoulder pads. It was insane. Yes, written by Sam Raimi and directed by Sam Raimi. There, yeah. So he was in it, and yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. I think he also did Swamp Thing, or I could be wrong. Anyway. Big up, Sam Raimi. You're doing good work. And yeah, Junie is backing me up on this. That yes, he did do Darkman. So yes, Sam Raimi, a man of many skills, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Do you guys think they're going to tie that in with Scarlet Witch at all?
I think they will.
Of course,
100%.
They have to. I mean.
Well, you heard it here first. Nobody else on the internet said that, folks. We broke that. That's breaking news right here.
Oh, we've said that before, actually.
Yes, we broke it the first time. Now we're breaking it again. Who did we say whose favorite Spider-Man was whose?
No.
Okay, well, Kenny, what's your favorite Spider-Man?
In order.
Well, not all of them, but just what's your favorite?
Well, no, I mean, you mean the movie or the character, the actors?
You choose. We'll follow your lead.
My favorite Spider-Man movie is Into the Spider-Verse.
You got Frederick. Hey, thanks for joining us, Fred.
Fred's a good friend of mine, and I guess we see eye to eye. I did not tell him to say that. But no, I think Into the Spider-Verse was phenomenal, and I think they did perfect. But as far as the live action, it's a tie between Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, because I think those two capture the kind of the immature nature of Spider-Man, right? Because that's like who he was. He was in the comic books. He's very quippy, and he has that immature humor and wit when he's fighting. And I don't think that Tobey Maguire captured that aspect of it.
He did get in some quips on Bonesaw.
On what?
Oh yeah, Bonesaw. Yeah, when he was doing the
yeah, that was like, but that was it. And then the rest of the time he's very serious.
Well, and to that point, do you think Sam Raimi ever really did quirky quips? I mean, maybe he should have hired like a comedy.
Did you ever see Hercules the Legend?
Have you ever seen it? Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
No, I have not seen that, and I'm proud of that fact. But,
yeah.
No, I wait a
second. He is full of quip.
Is that the one with
Kevin Sorbo?
Okay.
Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, I did not see that, and I will not
Hercules,
see that.
Xena, the warrior princess.
Did what? Cleopatra 2525. He did a whole bunch of ones. There was actually a Bruce Campbell spin-off that wasn't even the character, but it was taking place in like 19th century France or something. Like they had a whole bunch of like, the days of where you could take a series and then sell it to like 100 individual networks, and that was how you did it. You don't make TV like that anymore.
They do not.
While we're talking Spider-Mans,
yes,
the upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm going to put out there my thoughts of the plot is going to revolve around some kind of they're similar to I think it's going to be very similar in nature to Into the Spider-Verse. I think it's going to follow a very similar plot line.
Do you think that they're going to take all three characters and put them in there?
Oh, yeah.
All three actors?
Yeah.
I think Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to appear as other Spider-Man. I think I'm willing to bet they'll find a way to introduce Miles Morales. Because I don't know that Sony owns the rights to Miles Morales. I don't think they own all the Spider.
Well, then how do they do Into the Spider-Verse?
I think it was a part
in the video game.
Yeah.
No, I think Marvel owns Spider-Man now.
No, they're doing a joint.
No, they don't.
With Sony. Okay. It's like an agreement.
Yeah. It's a.
I want to look into it because I want to see. Because I'm wondering if they introduce other Spider-Man like Spider-Gwen or Miles Morales, if basically Disney/Marvel can create those.
I think they would like to do a Miles Morales, but I feel like we're always one, drunken Tom Holland phone call to studio execs away from this whole house of cards falling.
Yeah. Speaking of Tom Holland, I just saw some stills of him in the new Uncharted movie with him and Marky Mark.
Yeah.
Brianna, that doesn't look like a smile of approval.
I don't think Mark is going to play a good Sully. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm worried about it.
I don't think Mark has played a good anything ever. Well, no, he was.
But especially, he was originally going to be Nathan Drake, and then he got too old, and so they're like, "Oh, we'll just give him Sully." But he's not that character to me, and yeah, I have low hopes for that. I hate to say.
Brianna, which was your favorite Spider-Man? Not the movie.
No, I'm sorry, guys. My other kid is now awake, so somebody's gotta
Put him on.
tough.
Yeah, bring him on.
Tough
Yeah,
parents. No, I can't bring him on. He needs sleep.
Which is his favorite Spider-Man?
I don't know. I don't know if he has a favorite yet.
Come on.
We'll have to find out.
What are you teaching those kids? I mean, my God.
Right now, he's into trucks, trains, and things like that.
Very good. Well, sir, as always, we appreciate you participating in our. Oh, okay, everybody, wait. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Whose arms were that?
Unbelievable wife to the rescue. She
really?
She's handing off the baby to me, and she's gonna go tend to our toddler.
Well, so both of you,
we owe her for that.
Well, put her on camera. We'll say thank you.
Yeah, who's her favorite Spider-Man?
I think she's gonna
already ran upstairs.
Who's her favorite Spider-Man?
Exactly.
Actually, her favorite is Tobey Maguire.
Really?
Yes. She likes the original.
Mm-hmm.
That's and that's how my wife rolls.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Brianna, you were going to say who your favorite one was.
Yeah, I agree. I've had a really bad attitude about Spider-Man because after the Tobey Maguire ones, like, to me, that was Spider-Man. And then all of a sudden they've made all these other versions. So I've never even seen Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield. I hate to say. I know. I do need to see. I would see the Tom Holland ones. I have no interest in seeing the Andrew Garfield ones.
Dude, how can you be a fan of Spider-Man and not watch them?
I mean, I like Spider-Man. I like Marvel, but I'm not.
You can't say you like Spider-Man because if you like Spider-Man, you wouldn't like.
I own 1 through 3 Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, so
because he doesn't capture the attitude of Spider-Man.
I will say that I do like, and Kenny's right, is that one of Spider-Man's skills is that he throws his enemies off by frustrating them by talking smack. Yeah, a lot of boxers do that in the ring. They talk smack, and your rage overcomes you, and you can't fight as well. I think that Andrew Garfield got that smack talking down. However, I think he was too old to play Peter Parker. And whenever I saw him, I kept seeing the Social Network. I kept seeing him, beating up on Jeffrey what's his name, Eisenberg, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah. But so there. Oh, and Logan, did you say which is your favorite Spider-Man?
So it was interesting. I was probably going to say Tobey Maguire until Kenny mentioned just how it's typically Spider-Man's youngness and kind of immaturity that almost defines his style. And I think Tom Holland probably captures that more than anyone else, because when you think about it, I can't ever remember seeing an old man Spider-Man. I can't think of anything like that. So yeah, I think generally speaking, Tom Holland kind of fits it because they've finally gone younger. I don't necessarily know why they had to also have Aunt May follow the de-aging in Spider-Man 2, but whatever, I'll go with it. But really, I still think there's my favorite Spider-Man scene of any movie is Tobey Maguire's in Spider-Man 3, where it's him and James Franco, for whatever that's worth, working together to kind of defeat everybody at the end. And it's like that was just like a whole set of like chills, like working together, this incredible teamwork of two, like, oh my goodness, could you imagine if like there's a fourth and it's just a team up movie of them and it's like a redemption, like it was everything that was never meant to be. But yeah, like that scene just stuck with me of how just, when the enemy of my enemy becomes my friend kind of a thing, and they can team up and do it. Like that one just really, really struck me.
I got really upset when they killed James Franco off at the end, and I was hoping for another.
Yes, I did too. Before I wouldn't have cared, but after that, yeah.
Yes, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see James Franco for a while in any film, Spider-Man or other. I will go out on my own and well, not on my own, because I think somebody else said this, and forgive me, but yeah, I'm going with Miles Morales. In regards to, I know we're just saying Spider-Man, so that's indicative of
The Miles incarnation from Into the Spider-Verse, or
Yes.
just in general?
No, Into the Spider-Verse. Because
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I still get chills when I see him embracing his spider, spidiness, and and because they have him tied to the chair, and then he gets out, and his father's like talking to him through the door, and then he just he climbs up on the side of the building, and the soundtrack is booming, and he does that jump, and they shoot it juxtaposed, so I mean they reverse it, so it looks like he's floating up when he's falling down head first. I mean, it's still just I get goosebumps when I think of that scene, and I forget the name of that song. Somebody be sure and text that to me, and we'll give you a shout out. Maybe give you a free T-shirt. Anyway, good stuff. Spider. Did everybody say their favorite Spider-Man? Raymond, did you say yours? All
Yep.
right. All right.
Toby.
Everybody taken care of. Let us move on, good people. So this one, Raymond, you had to do it. Now, I don't even know if this is technically a bug.
It is a bug movie.
It is? Okay. Well, if
Yeah, let's think of just gigantic caterpillars. I mean,
Giant
If we're
worm.
counting aliens, we can count Tremors. But
Yep.
Giant worms.
I think
Worm,
it's more
yeah.
of a worm. But, again.
Worms with teeth.
Yeah. It's
graboids.
There we go. But yes, so we're talking about Tremors with a very young Kevin Bacon and what's his name? The guy that played Remo Williams. I forget his name. Fred
Don't forget
Ward.
about Reba
Fred Ward.
McEntire.
Fred Ward. Yeah, Reba McEntire and Michael Gross for you 80s kids, who was the father.
Family Ties.
Family Ties. Exactly. And who can forget that lovely song while they're painting the family? It's I get all the member berries. But anyway, Raymond, tell us about the thing that made you bring this to the to show and tell.
Kevin Bacon. I mean, all I can say. I mean, like I told you before, he should have won an Academy Award for this one. This was. Well, I like the. I mean, it's like Jaws, but in the desert. I mean, it's just.
And they've made how many of them?
5,
Well,
6.
no, yeah, they made I don't know how many of them, but nothing can ever beat the first one.
No.
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, and to answer your question earlier, Julian, yeah, between I'd say between what was this first movie?
Footloose.
But yeah, between Footloose and Invisible Man, this is it. This is his shining moment.
This is it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like it. It like I said, it was like Jaws in the desert. I mean, I've never been so scared of putting my foot in the sand.
I just saw Junie's comment about this.
Oh, I didn't see it. But...
Kevin Bacon hates talking about Tremors.
I knew Kevin Bacon hated talking about 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but I didn't know he hated talking about Tremors. Why? I mean, come on, Johnny Depp was in Friday the 13th. I mean, he can talk about Tremors. Don't be too good for us, Kevin Bacon. Let's be frank. You were in Sleepers. And no, not Sleepers. What was the one where they died and came back to life again and again?
Flatliners?
Oh, no.
Flatliners.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Trust me, you haven't been batting 1,000 all the time, pal. So, but no. It was fun. And I like what you're saying about it being basically Jaws on land, because it allowed you to have that suspense without really having to do anything. You didn't have to have a worm. It was just the dirt, and
exactly.
Yeah.
And my favorite scene is when they went fishing with the dynamite. I mean, that's classic. I mean, no one's ever done that, basically. So,
what? Nobody's gone fishing with dynamite?
Well, no, not in this way. I mean, basically, they threw the dynamite in the middle of the in the middle. They're in the rocks. They had a dynamite in a string. They started pulling the dynamite so that it made vibrations, and all of a sudden, one of them just came up and just scooped it up and exploded. That was classic.
Well, to be fair, I originally had added Dune on my list, but when I was thinking about it, that'd be a little too repetitive, so I took it out. But yes, the
worms never attacked anyone in Doom.
Yes, they did. They attacked everybody. And what are you talking about?
Oh yeah,
Dune? That's literally all they did was attack people. Until Muad'Dib got on their back and started riding them, because
all right, okay,
yeah,
maybe that's the part I remember.
But I do remember, to your point, they had like those vibration sticks to kind of lure them. Yeah. And Judy's saying that Tremors 28 started into Starship Troopers 58. So,
Tremors are the bugs undercover agents. I like it.
Yes, it's. I would say sequels end up just taking over a series, and by the end, you don't even recognize it. I think what's his name, Fred Ward, was in a lot of them, but he wasn't really getting much other work. The other film I think I saw him in was in what was the one? Joe Dirt. He played Joe Dirt's dad, and that. Other than that, I don't think his career's been on fire. But hey, Tremors wasn't bad. It was what it was.
It was a classic.
Tremors is great.
Classic.
It was what it was. Now I'm going to blow some minds, literally, because this is one of the most. And here's the thing. I forgot to point this out. A lot of the films we were talking about earlier were very Kafka-esque. The whole, The Fly, and District 9, where you have this metamorphosis into an alien. It also reminded me, when we were talking about these, of the movie based on I think it's William Burroughs, called Naked Lunch. And let me bring up the graphics on that. Yes, Naked Lunch. Now this one starred. It was done by Cronenberg again. He loves these. It starred Peter Weller, who of course was the RoboCop, and also had Julian Sands was in it. Ian Holm was in Ian Holm was in Alien. He was the android in Alien. A lot of interesting people in this. Did not make a lot of money. It made $2.2 million in the U.S. So, but it was very, very odd. Like I said, it was based off of William Burroughs' film about a writer who had let's just say a dependency on pesticides, and a lot of stuff you don't know if it's really happening or hallucinations and yada yada yada, but visually very interesting. Again, done by Cronenberg, so you had like a lot of interesting creatures. So that is when I had to put that out there. Any comments on it? Any thoughts? Nobody's seen it. I'm the only one.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, but I knew nobody saw that but me. But let's move on to something that probably almost everybody here has seen. Ant-Man.
Yes.
Yeah. And what's funny is it's amazing when you're looking at this. I'm like, this came out when? 2015? Dude, I'm feeling old.
6 whole years ago.
Yeah. But it just seems like forever. And also we have a lovely graphic to accompany that.
Yeah.
Yes. Anthony. Yes. That is adorable, and it reminds me a lot of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So, so Kenny, tell us about why you like Ant-Man.
What do you mean? Why do I like? What is there not to like about Ant-Man?
Well,
it is not only a bug movie; it is a heist movie, and it's fantastic. And what's his name? Michael Pena. Has the best comic relief in that movie. Oh my god, his story, the little stories he tells, man.
Yes. That was really inventive, the way they do those lip syncing when other people.
Yeah.
It's almost like a drunken history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But no, it's really great. I think it was a good origin story. Because they hinted enough at the previous Ant-Man, because Scott Lang was not the first Ant-Man.
Right.
Mhm.
Even in the comics, Hank Pym was the first. And but I love that he basically starts with Hank Pym's previous Ant-Man suit, and you just kind of see him grow as a character. I think it was really great.
You're right. I think this was a good contribution to the MCU.
I think it was also a fantastic casting choice, because I think anybody other than Paul Rudd, this would have been Marvel's first misstep and flop. And I think a lot deserves to his acting chops, as well as the support, like you said, Michael Pena and others kind of around him that could hold him up and also play off of him.
Yeah.
Because without him as an actor was, I don't know that this works as well without him.
You're 100% right, Logan. As a character, he just kills it. Paul Rudd is he's entertaining to watch, and he's captivating. And I think he brought levity to a role that needs levity, because Ant-Man, a shrinking man, it's kind of hard to play, but it's just like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You have a lot of cool visual effects and how he reacts to them. And you're right, Kenny. Michael Pena's storytelling clips are classic. Very, very smartly done. And Junie's pointing out that Michael Pena's character was based off of a cousin of his. So that's a binge fact. There you go.
Their terminology coined for you.
There you go. Raymond, did you like Ant-Man?
Oh yes. I liked it. I'm always amazed at the CGI when it comes to Michael Douglas. I mean, I was going like, dang, that's what he looked like in the streets of San Francisco days. I mean,
Yeah.
I was going like, I'm still amazed of how they're doing. I mean, they've copped. I mean, Star Wars. Other what do you call this? Other studios other than Marvel have tried doing this and failed miserably. It just amazes. I mean, not just the effect. I also like the chemistry between the characters. But mostly it's I think Michael Douglas was also good. Is also a good fit in that movie. I mean, and I liked it a lot. I also like the fact that they were hinting to a second Ant-Man when they hinted to a second Ant-Man in this and tried to introduce the Wasp at the end. I was going like, okay, I'm definitely gonna wait to watch a second one. So
I think Michael Douglas is underrated. I mean, because he's been around for a long time, and I mean, I remember the first film I saw him in that registered was Romancing the Stone, or maybe it was Jewel of the Nile. I forget which was first, but it was
Falling Down for me.
Oh yeah, that was later. Yeah, when he played the person who, let's just say, got tired of society and decided to that's a little too close to home right now. But yeah, at its time it was very interesting. Also, I remember him being in he was in The Game with Sean Penn. It was sort of a psychological one, and he was also in he was in I don't want to call it The Running Man because that's sort of Schwarzenegger, but he was in a movie where he was a marathon runner, and it was really early in his career, and he was literally like he was a guy who was a ne'er-do-well at his day job, but his passion was running, and I think he made it to the Olympics or something, or some sort of a running event, and he it was very hard. I don't want to spoil in case you guys do want to check it out, but it was way back in the day, way back in the day. And,
Am I the only one who remembers In the Streets of San Francisco? Dang, I'm old.
I never saw that. I do remember Black Rain.
Yeah, that's way before Black Rain.
Yeah. Oh, and of course
Wait.
when he went, then he did. Apparently Junie's watching a great movie called King of California with Michael Douglas. Not familiar with that. Well, and who can forget Wall Street?
Yes. Now Wall Street, I think is there's a lot of movies I would watch over and over again. That's one of them.
Yeah,
Absolute Balance, Wall Street. That's one of them.
where he plays the Geico Gecko.
Gecko, yeah. Greed is good.
Greed is good. Greed works. Anyway, Ant-Man, good film, great effects, and a great anchor to the overall. And again, one of the anchors when it came to fighting, in the Infinity Wars. So let's not sell him short
Civil
on
War
that.
and Infinity War, quite frankly.
Yeah, remember Civil War when he went big?
Yeah.
I did not see that coming, and again, that was just a great beat in that scene. Anyway,
Endgame, not Infinity War. Sorry.
Endgame, yes.
And also, I liked how they brought him back in Endgame, and how the rat was basically the thing that pushed everything into. Yeah, that was interesting. Okay, now let's bring it home with our last bug film, and this one I don't know if a lot of people have seen it. It's a remake, and I really enjoyed it when it came out, and it had a very dark turn.
Oh,
yes, it's called The
that
Myth.
ending is amazing.
It is. I'm glad you saw it, Logan.
I actually love this one. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it was so good. And again, not a lot of effects. It had effects, but it was like a good balance of the character study and the effects. It was written and directed by Frank Darabont, and produced by him as well. But yeah, it starred Thomas Jane, who was the second Punisher, because Dolph Lundgren was the first, right?
Yeah, he was the second.
Yeah,
And my favorite Punisher, but yes.
Yep.
He tried to revitalize his role as Punisher. He did a direct to YouTube clip called
That short was great.
Laundry Day.
A laundromat or laundry day. Yeah.
No, it was good, and he's a good he's a good actor. And also what's her name, Marcia Gay Harden was in it, and she is great. I remember her in Mystic River, and she always plays these kind of slightly affected characters, and it was. Oh, and also what's his name, William Sadler was in it. He was one of the prisoners in Shawshank Redemption.
And Andre Brower from the precinct, the
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
And Toby Jones.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, who played what was the name of the writer? Philip Seymour Hoffman also played him. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Capote. Yes, he was in Capote. Well, this one, and there he is. Yes, The Mist is.
He was also in the second Captain America movie.
That's right. He played.
Oh yeah, that's right. What's his name? Zola.
Yeah.
Zola.
There you go. And this one again, I got to give spoilers away on this one because it's been around for quite some time. Long story short, there's this mist that creeps into a town, and people get isolated because there are these monsters in the mist. As you can see, this horrible nightmare fuel type monsters. And the whole thing is some people want to go away, and some people want to stay put, and it's just people start to divide amongst themselves and start attacking one another. But what was really dark, and Logan, I'm just going to go there, is at the end, him and his son and his wife or a girl. Oh no, just was a girlfriend. I forget, but it was like a party of 5 that made it into a car, and they just drove off into the mist to try to escape. And the car ran out of gas, and they're stuck in the middle of the mist, and they just know the monsters are going to come and get them. Thomas has a gun with 4 bullets in it, and he does what I guess he thought was the best move, because they've seen just horrific things, and they all thought, I can't go out like that. Let's just end it this way. And here's the horrible twist.
Oh.
He dispatches everybody, and then but he can't do it because there's no bullets for him. So he gets out of the car and he's just yelling at the mist, "Come on, just come on and take me." And then the military shows up. It was the worst thing ever.
Oh.
The worst thing ever. Oh, and again, Logan, Kenny, your family.
Oh God! I didn't realize my stomach was that high when I felt it drop that much as soon as that happened. Oh my goodness!
But such a twist, But first of all, it was just dark in and of itself, saying, a person. And again, his kid was like 8.
Yeah.
And what he had done was just unimaginable that that had happened. But then afterwards, to show that you didn't have to do any of that because the military was right there around the corner. Oh, it was. I do recommend watching it. It's very small focus because it takes place mostly in a department store where they're all kind of trapped. But it's great acting, and a lot of the cast from The Walking Dead was in there. What's her name? Jeffrey DeMunn, who was the old guy in Walking Dead, the guy who had the Winnebago and the fisherman's hat. Nobody, but Walt. I'm going to call him Walt, and also Laurie Holden was in it, and she was in The Walking Dead. She was and Brianna, you know these people. You've worked with them, right?
It's been so long since I've even watched those.
Well, but she was the one that the blonde.
She was Andrea.
Andrea, yes, thank you. So it was interesting cast of characters, and it was just one of the most tragic films I've ever seen, but really interesting bug animation. I will give it that. So if you like good effects and horribly gut-wrenching endings, you should definitely check out The Mist.
Yeah.
Well, there we go, guys. This has been an awesome bug show. And again, for those out there, when you see cicadas, because they're going to be around for about a month, they're just showing up to do their thing. They're not going to bug you. Look at it like this. This is kind of their prom. They've been underground for 17 years, and they're showing up, and they're just making whoopee. They're having bug love. Leave them alone. Let them do their thing, because they don't bite, they don't sting, they don't even eat. Interesting fact: cicadas, when they're in their brood form, they don't have mouths because they have no intention of eating. They are literally just there to do one thing.
So I guess me going to a picnic where they're going to be serving cicadas is not a good thing to mention at this point.
No. You know what? It's part of the food chain.
There's a restaurant actually by me that was just announcing they're switching from grasshopper to cicada tacos for a while.
Interesting.
Try that.
Guys, you got to let us know how those taste.
I have no idea.
I will let
I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
I mean,
by the way, just so that Julian, so that you're able to sleep tonight, not thinking about this, it's 8-Legged Freaks. Scarlett Johansson's bug movie is 8-Legged Freaks, and if you want, so if you want to watch her get webbed or something like that, that's.
What's funny is I don't remember her in it because it was probably before she got on my radar. But I do remember what's his name in it.
I know who you're talking about.
David. He's one of the siblings. His sisters were David Arquette. There you go. Boom.
David Arquette. Yeah.
Look at that. I got it. Yes, David Arquette was in it. And the only reason I know that is because he yells, you 8-legged freaks. like the title. That's
Yes.
pretty much it.
All right.
But yes, enjoy your bug stew, Raymond, and
All right.
and let us know how that is.
Well,
Kenny,
they're called tree
but-
shrimp. So
say that again.
they're called tree shrimp. So I'm just assuming that's how they're going to taste. I don't know yet.
No, that's false advertising. They do not taste like. The only reason I know is because I did once have ants. Like chocolate covered ants. Or no, it wasn't
I've had
chocolate.
them.
It was like baked ants, and yeah, I had to try one just to check it off the list. It was not good. It was not the best meal I've ever had. But it definitely didn't taste like seafood. I'll say that. But you never had cicadas before? This will be your first time?
This will be my first time. I've had ants. I've had ant larvae. I've had mealworm, but I've never had cicada. So this would be a good addition to my culinary repertoire.
Yeah. No, you're quite the. Now, do you have you done that mostly here in the States, or have you eaten?
The ant larvae and the mealworm, I actually had those in Mexico. The ant was brought over to my place of work by one of my coworkers in Colombia. So she promised me some, so she snuck some across the border and not across the border, but through customs and pretty much gave it to me. I had a gout attack afterwards, but
Yeah,
but it was good. It's what it tasted like. It tasted like
peanuts.
old bacon.
You know what's funny? I think we may be talking about the same person. I think that's exactly the ants that I had.
Yep, exactly.
Yes.
It came in a bottle, right? She gave some to you. Okay, all right.
There you go.
Yes.
And we come full circle from
Mhm.
from bugs eating people to people eating bugs. There you go. But anyway, we got some comments. Let's give last shout outs. And Junie, thanks for joining us, Chief. Again, we got to get you on here one of these days and get your thoughts on some movies. But everybody, we want to again thank you for watching our show. We're bringing the best content we can to you. If you have any recommendations of things you want us to discuss, any movies, any TV shows, any video games, we're looking forward to reviewing them, discussing them, chewing it up, spitting them out just for you. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you, Logan, Raymond, Kenny, Brianna, and Eric, who decided that, he was going to go live his life instead of spending it here with us. We don't hold it against Eric too much. So again, appreciate everybody watching us. Be sure to take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and as always, if it's worthwhile, it's worth binging. There you go.